Stop chasing. Look, it's Marcel, aka Honey Bunny Sunny, and I'm on a mission to make you some money. Listen, today we got a great video. I'm going to show you how you can go out and get paid this week. Okay, I got a few setups that I've looked at, I've researched, done the work for you. I still want you to go and do your research, but these are absolutely going to be some bangers if they pan out in the way that I see them. Okay. I hope y'all had a great weekend. Again, Sunday is always an exciting time, just getting prepped for the week. We really about to go in. So without further ado, subscribe. I'm giving game every week, right? If you just go look at the last watch list and the last watch list and the last watch list and just look at what those stocks did, people were able to make hundreds of percent, right? Consistently, right? I'm not going to call it if it's not something that I see. So go back and check that out. But yeah, subscribe so that you don't miss any more is the point that I'm making. All right, so we're going to jump into this list. I have Coinbase, right? I have Amazon, right? I have, what's the other one? What was that third one? It's Coinbase, Amazon, and NVIDIA. So we got Coinbase, Amazon, and NVIDIA. So I'm about to pull up the first one, pull up Coinbase. All right. So I got Coinbase pulled up, y'all. Listen, I need you to understand something. Crypto is in an interesting place right now. As you can see right now, we got this consolidation going on, but it's partially because of the indecision. The market is kind of trying to fill out exactly what the Fed cut meant, right? We just had Powell cut rates on the 17th, and the market is trying to process it. So I feel like we've had a week to kind of, sit with it, a little less than a week to kind of sit with it. People got to kind of sleep on the weekend. And I think we come back this week with more direction, right? We have some volume coming into crypto, right? Bitcoin is starting to heat up a lot more. And we know that, Coinbase moves when Bitcoin performs well, right? We get upward progress when we see upward progress with Bitcoin. Excuse me. So what I'm looking for here is actually we had a make or break level, yo. If you look at this level right here, this is a critical resistance before, broke it, turned it into support, but then it came back down and it broke it again. We know whenever a support or resistance is broken, it's just then flipped. So it went up, broke resistance, and then it came back and it gapped down and broke support. And now it's sitting right here at what used to be support and is now resistance. So it's retesting what used to be support. It is now resistance. So if it falls here, yeah, it could retrace down to here. If it breaks here, then it can retrace down to here. However, if we break up above what I'm thinking about 351, 352, we get some sort of confirmation on the daily right up here, we can go and fill this gap that's about $25 wide. Right? We can go fill the gap that's $25 wide, which is a huge swing opportunity. So if we get some sort of momentum in crypto, we start to get a little bit of a pump, like the start to that, it's already in a bullish trend. But if we get that real takeoff, you could see Coinbase retrace highs, which would be beautiful for anybody who enters swing. So like I said, 352 is what I want to see a closure at before my sentiment is okay, this is bullish. Again, if we get a failure of this resistance, then I'm not messing with it. It could go right back into consolidation or it could fall. So that's Coinbase. The next one I had for you guys is, I'm just going through the watch list. Amazon. Right? Amazon is ready to go. Look at this. Right? So you could call this like a head and shoulders. When you zoom all the way out, this could be a head and shoulders. Shoulder right here, head right here, right? Neckline extending right here, or some people may call the neckline up here. We can call this a head and shoulders. Maybe this is a shoulder, depending on how you're looking at it, right? But it spans over a year. We're talking about from, this time in 2024. So in the short term, we have a trend that's been holding strong. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touches. In the super short term, we got 3 touches, which shows that buyers do not want to see this fall. Like there's a lot of buyers here that want to hold this up. So if Amazon could just get a higher high than it previously closed, I would start looking for some some bullish entries. If we can break highs, this thing can really take off. Right now, highs are sitting at about 242.72. So I'd be watching for that on the weekly, like for longer term swings. But if you're talking about intraday and weekly swings, you want to see just a higher high on the daily time frame. So if we could just get a close that has a bottom wick here and a top wick up here somewhere in this area, that will be a really good signal to start looking for some bullish entries. Now, like I said, it's holding this trend line strong, right? It has a very, people also call these trend lines speed lines. And the reason that they call them speed lines is because the way that the trend line is sloped is giving you the speed at which it's going to go up. So the lower the slope, the slower the speed. The higher the slope, like the steeper that it is, the faster the speed. So this is a pretty steep trend line, a pretty steep angle, which shows that once this catches some momentum, it can continue and go, and go up pretty fast, right? So that's Amazon. And last but not least, we had NVIDIA, right? Now, this is something I want y'all to pay attention to on NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA actually has a really beautiful head and shoulders, a reverse head and shoulders, I'm sorry. And the last one was that as well. I said head and shoulders, but reverse head and shoulders is what I'm talking about. So it's just a head and shoulders flip. A regular head and shoulders is a bearish pattern. I don't want to confuse you all. Amazon had a long-term reverse head and shoulders, and we see one right here as well on NVIDIA with the reverse head and shoulders. We got one shoulder right there. We got the head. We got another shoulder right here, and then we have the neckline. And as you all know, and I'll draw this right here, some may not know this, but when you have a slanted neckline like that, right, that is a signal that this stock is going to take off once it breaches or breaks that line, right? So if we can get a closure above this slant right here, we could see NVIDIA really, really take off to the upside. So this is a beautiful setup. You swing this just on weekly contracts when it makes it happen. We're talking about, doubling your money. Okay, so I'm never giving advice. It's always just what I see, right? It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do want to keep you guys up on what I'm doing, and I encourage you to go and do your research as well. So we got NVIDIA, we got Amazon, we got Coinbase, right? All with beautiful setups to catch some beautiful trades this week. Listen, if you do not have a trading family, man, you gotta get with the Prosperity Collective. I'm telling you, we're having too many results, as you can see right here. Too many results in the group, too many lives being changed for you to not take advantage. It's at a price that is just a complete steal, where we've even had people in the group say that they're robbing us. And we're going up on the price October 1st. So I highly recommend, if you've been trying to do this on your own, listen, I know it's hard, right? I know it's hard. And we're not one of those groups. I know you haven't seen it before, but we're not one of those groups that's like going to get you in to try to sell you into the next thing and then sell you into the next thing. And then we're not doing that. Once you're with the Prosperity Collective, that's it. Right? People don't usually like to leave because they're getting so much value for the money. Once you in there, that's it. We're not upselling you to a $30,000 course or member. You pay the membership to be a part of the community, and that's exactly what we are. We show up every day for each other. We put in more than we take, and we always compensate for any sort of weakness that anybody may have, and we move as a unit, as a family. All right, I would love to have you guys a part of that. Click the link in the description below if you are interested. Remember, invest smart, live free. I'll see you in the next one.